Grateful that you stayed on with us. Let's begin from Parliament. And the government, as part of its fiscal measures, has decided to waive import duties on electric vehicles, EVs, designated for public transportation for 8 years, according to Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta during the presentation of the 2024 budget and economic statement to Parliament. Furthermore, in a move to promote menstrual hygiene and affordability, the Finance Minister has declared that all locally produced sanitary pads would now be zero rated. Citi News' Nia Ukwe has more in the following report.
Constitution and the Public Financial Management Act, the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, was in Parliament on Wednesday to present the 2024 budget statement and economic policy of the government. He announced some tax relief measures and revealed that government has granted zero VAT rates on locally produced sanitary pads and also waived import duty on raw materials for the production of sanitary pads locally.
The following reliefs have been prioritized for implementation. To extend, Mr. Speaker, the zero rate of VAT on locally manufactured African prints for 2 more years. Mr. Speaker, to waive import duties on import of electric vehicles for public transportation for a period of 8 years. Mr. Speaker, to waive import duties on semi-knocked down and completely knocked down electric vehicles imported by registered EV assembly companies in Ghana for a period of 8 years. Mr. Speaker, to extend zero rate of VAT on locally assembled vehicles for 2 more years. Mr. Speaker, to zero rate VAT on locally produced sanitary pads. Mr. Speaker, to grant import duty waivers for raw materials for the local manufacture of sanitary pads. Mr. Speaker, to grant exemptions on the importation of agricultural machinery equipment and inputs and medical consumables, raw materials for the pharmaceutical industry. Mr. Speaker, a VAT flat rate of 5% to replace the 15% standard VAT rate on all commercial properties will be introduced to simplify administration. To address the negative externalities of plastic waste and pollution, government will review and expand the environmental excise duty to cover plastic packaging and industrial and vehicle emissions. Mr. Speaker, the Stamp Duty Act 2005, Act 689, has not been reviewed since its enactment in 2005. To realign the rate with current economic realities, government in 2024 will review the rates and fees for stamp duties.
He also announced the allocation of 220 million Ghana cedis to support victims of the Akosombo Dam spillage in the Oti, Savannah and Bono East regions.
Mr. Speaker, government has budgeted an amount of 220 million to support the relief phase for the communities affected by the Akosombo spillage, as well as floods upstream in the Oti, Savannah, and Bono East regions. Mr. Speaker, in addition, the Ministry of Finance, after the visit, was quickened to respond. We have requested funding from the World Bank under the IDA crisis response window to support the resettlement of the victims, restoration of livelihoods, compensation, and reconstruction of infrastructure in the affected communities.
The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, also announced that the contractor on the reconstruction of the La General Hospital will move to site next week to ensure that significant work is done on the project in the year 2024.
Mr. Speaker, government has renegotiated the contract terms of the La General Hospital project and will now be funded through the national budget. The contractor is expected, Mr. Speaker, to be back on site next week to complete a significant amount of work by 2024.